The U.S. State Department has approved the transfer of 5 Russian-made Mi-17 HIP helicopters that had belonged to the now-defunct Afghan Air Force to the Ukrainian Armed Forces, according to a new report from CNN. American officials also authorized plans by the Estonian, Latvian, and Lithuanian governments to send U.S.-made weapons, including Javelin anti-tank guided missiles, and other equipment to Ukraine. This is all part of a broader push by the United States and its allies and partners to bolster Ukraine's military capabilities ahead of a potential new Russian invasion, the prospects for which look ever more imminent. President Joe Biden's administration has been reportedly considering sending some ex-Afghan Mi-17s to Ukraine, which already operates HIP helicopter variants, for months now. Last November, the war zone was the first to report that the U.S. military was starting to relocate a number of ex-Afghan aircraft of various types to the U.S. Air Force's boneyard at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base. As of December 9, 2021, Air Force Material Command said that there were 7 Mi-17s, as well as 17 MD-530F Little Bird armed light helicopters at the boneyard. The 5 Mi-17s are already in Ukraine for maintenance after being pulled out of Afghanistan during the withdrawal there, according to CNN. It's not clear whether these ex-Afghan Mi-17s include any of the ones that had been moved to the boneyard in Arizona or were helicopters taken from stocks at other locations. A number of HIPs and other Afghan Air Force aircraft escaped to other countries as the Taliban took over last August, while others were reportedly in other countries undergoing deep maintenance. Ukrainian companies had been among those contracted to do depot maintenance on Afghanistan's Mi-17s in the past. At least 2 Afghan HIPs were reportedly spotted in Ukraine in August 2021. It is also important to note that, while the State Department has now approved the transfer, there are still additional steps to complete before the helicopters can be formally transferred to the Ukrainian military. The same goes for the Javelins and other material that the Estonians, Latvians, and Lithuanians are looking to deliver to their Ukrainian counterparts. European allies have what they need to move forward on additional security assistance from Ukraine in the coming days and weeks, a State Department spokesperson told CNN. We are in close touch with our Ukrainian partners and our NATO allies on this, as well as utilizing all available security cooperation tools available to us, including expediting authorized transfers of U.S. origin equipment from other allies and partners via our third-party transfer process and excess defense articles from DOT inventories, among other mechanisms. The Ukrainians will undoubtedly see the 5 Mi-17s as a welcome addition to this other assistance, giving the country's armed forces additional capacity to move personnel and supplies around the battlefield during any future contingency, as well as recover casualties. These helicopters can be configured to act as gunships armed with anti-tank missiles, unguided rockets, and gun pods, as well. At the same time, this is a relatively small number of aircraft, though the U.S. government could move to transfer additional ex-Afghan Mi-17s, as well as some of the MD-530FS in the future. Regardless, there do not appear to be enough of the former Afghan helicopters available to have any significant impact in offsetting Russia's advantages in both the size and capabilities of its aircraft fleets. All of this only underscores the limitations in what the United States, as well as its allies and partners, are willing and able to do to directly deter or otherwise confront the growing prospect of a new large-scale Russian military intervention into Ukraine. President Biden drew particular criticism for remarks during a press conference yesterday that were interpreted as indicating that the U.S. government might act in a less forceful manner to a minor incursion or some kind by Russia into Ukraine, something that American officials have since sought to stress is not the case.